Hello everyone, welcome to this PARS tutorial video for our ruler number 34, cables, petals and vines. So the first thing that we're going to do is find the starting point on the material, start with your ruler down and then just follow the curve all the way from one end to the other. When you get to the end, stop with the needle down, slide the ruler over, and then you are going to match the scroll lines on the ruler with the stitching that you've just sewn. So this will mean the pattern will match up nice and symmetrical as you continue along. So you just need to do this for as long as you want the section, and then when you want to go back the other way to match the patterns, you slide the ruler along, match up your scroll lines, start with your needle down and then just sew from one side to the other. Again, every time you move the ruler, you need to stop with the needle down and then you can move it along, match up your scroll lines, and that will complete the pattern. So this is a horizontal cable that we've done, and we are now going to move on to the vertical. So again, we just slide the ruler around and sew the complete length of the channel. So we're going to sew two lengths of the channel. So we're going to slide the ruler up now to extend the line, pop your scroll lines on like before, and continue until you get to the top. Once you're at the top, again, stop with your needle down, slide the ruler over to get the other line, put your sewing on underneath the scroll lines, and then you can just continue all the way down. So that is the basic of getting your classic vine pattern with this ruler. So again, here I've just gone along the bottom and up the top. But you could do this as a border, you could just do this as a diagonal vine pattern. It's very flexible for whatever fits your design. And again, I'm just going to build on this pattern now. So I've done the two basics, and I'm just going to add one more section going up in the middle between them. Exactly the same process as before. Start with your needle down, slide the ruler across and match up your scroll lines, and then all you need to do is make sure that where you want your pattern to end is in the center of the channel at the end of your pattern, so everything matches up nice and symmetrical. And it's as easy as that. That is how you do the classic vine pattern. Okay, so we are going to start the second pattern now, the wavy line pattern. So the first thing you do is just pick your starting point on the material, and also you're going to pick one side of the curvy line, as we're going to use this curvy line throughout the pattern. So start with your needle down and just sew the channel from one side to the other. When you get to the other side, stop with your needle down and then just slide the ruler into position. You can use your scroll lines again here to make sure that the pattern is going to be symmetrical. So you just keep doing this same technique until you've got the length of the line that you require. So it's a very flexible pattern because you can use it on a small space for a smaller project, or you can just keep going for as big a project as you've got. We are then going to use the straight line section of the channel, and we're going to sew up here to connect one line to the other line. So we just then sew the line, and then we use the same side of the ruler again to go back the other way to make the curve. So doing the exact same thing as before, starting with our needle down and sewing the full length of the curve and using the scroll lines each time we slide the ruler to match it up. So this pattern you can do, it is quite flexible. You can have the lines closer together, you can have them further apart. You could also, if you want to use alternate sides of the ruler to give it a different type of wavy pattern. But as you can see, I'm just sewing up the vertical section again, the straight line section of the channel, and then using the same side of the ruler to go back the other way. And you can just keep building and building this pattern depending on what project you are doing. So as you can see here, I am doing quite slow stitching, and that's something that I would recommend to do when you're getting started. As soon as you feel more comfortable, you can up the stitch rate and make the pattern faster. So again, just doing the same things, again. You'll see this a lot throughout our rulers, that to get the consistency, it's the same techniques over again. And each time we are using the scroll lines so we can match up the pattern and make it symmetrical. So I'm just going to do the last section of this particular pattern here, and I'm doing the same thing as before. Make sure you stop with the needle down, because that fixes the material in place. So when you're moving the ruler around, material will stay exactly where it needs to stay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back. I could have finished the pattern there, but I'm going to go back and put some extra lines in so that you can see the difference. If you put the lines closer together, it just makes a totally different design depending on what you're doing. So I'm doing the exact same technique as I was doing before. I'm just using one side of the ruler and just going back and forth and back and forth, just to fill in that top section with some additional lines, just to give you an insight of what you can do. Now, this ruler, these patterns that I am doing are just guidelines. You can experiment yourself and make up brand new pattern designs. You can, make the lines fit the section of quilt that you're trying to achieve for your project. So it is very flexible. There's no set rules of what patterns you can do. These are just my suggestions and showing you the technique. Once you've got the technique, you can go ahead on your own and create whatever patterns that you like. So as you can see there, I've just done the exact same thing again, and I have just filled in that one little section to show you what it can look like. Super easy and super effective.